Become who you are. How many times have you felt like you're living a life that isn't yours? As if you're following a script someone else wrote for you, whether it's your family, your culture, or even society as a whole. Most people go through life without questioning whether what they believe is truly theirs or if it was imposed from the outside. They shape themselves to meet expectations, carry labels, and identify with ideas they might have never consciously chosen. But what if all of this is just an illusion? Nietzsche was one of the greatest critics of this kind of automated life. For him, true freedom can only be achieved when we break free from these chains and become truly authentic. But how is this even possible? What does it practically mean to become who you are? If you feel that something inside of you is asleep, if there's an unease that doesn't let you rest, maybe this is the call to awaken. In this video, you will understand how to apply Nietzsche's teachings to find and live your true identity. More than a philosophical concept, this is a real, intense, and necessary journey. And by the end of it, you may not be the same. What does become who you are mean? Nietzsche believed that most people live a life that isn't truly their own. They conform to societal standards, shaping themselves to fit inherited values without question. Life, in this sense, becomes a repetition without reflection on one's own authenticity. Nietzsche challenges us with the critical question: is the life you are living truly yours, or are you simply repeating what others have imposed on you? His concept of eternal recurrence is a test of authenticity. Imagine having to live your life over and over again, in the exact same way. The question is, would you be comfortable with that? Would you repeat every moment, from the smallest to the biggest, without wishing to change anything? The eternal recurrence is not just a philosophical idea. It's a challenge to examine how deeply you are living. If you cannot bear the thought of living your life again, unchanged, that could be a sign you are not truly living authentically. Now, imagine life as a mask you wear every day. This mask is built by layers of societal, familial, and cultural expectations, one after the other. As each layer builds, you lose touch with your true self. Over time, you start identifying with the mask instead of the person behind it. Society's expectations, the fear of disappointing others, the need to fit into a predefined mold, all of this causes you to drift away from your true identity. The mask metaphor helps us understand how we hide behind roles and behaviors that aren't ours, adopting them to please others or gain acceptance. Nietzsche invites us to remove these layers, to take off the mask, and confront who we truly are. This process requires courage, as it often involves the painful deconstruction of who we thought we were. However, it's the only way to achieve true freedom. Your real identity cannot be found behind the masks we wear, it's beyond them, waiting to be revealed. The enemies of the true self for Nietzsche, one of the biggest obstacles to finding the true self is the morality of the herd. Society imposes values, behaviors, and expectations that everyone is expected to follow. This collective morality aims to shape individuals according to a predetermined idea of right and wrong, without considering each person's uniqueness. By blindly following these norms, we lose the ability to think for ourselves. We become just another part of the collective, a cog in a system that prioritizes conformity over self-discovery. The morality of the herd suppresses individuality and kills authenticity. What's even more dangerous is that it convinces us that we are happier or more virtuous for conforming. But conformity is not freedom, it's imprisonment. Another major enemy of authenticity is resentment. Nietzsche believed that many people fail to accept their lives as they are and instead fall into victimhood, blaming others for their difficulties. This creates a cycle of frustration and powerlessness, where you see yourself as a victim of fate, society, or others. Resentment prevents you from taking responsibility for your life and future. It gives you the false sense that things are beyond your control, making real change impossible. By blaming others, you remain stuck in the role of a spectator, not taking action or evolving. And here lies another enemy of true identity: false identity. In our search for meaning and belonging, we often cling to ideologies, beliefs, and labels that seem to give us security. But these things often only serve to imprison our essence. Whether in political, religious, or social movements, ideologies can be disguised prisons. They offer an identity ready-made, which you can adopt without questioning. However, by clinging to these ideas, you lose the power to create your own identity and follow your own path. Beliefs, in any form, become a straitjacket that limits true self-expression. Nietzsche warns us about these enemies of authenticity, the morality of the herd, resentment, and false identity. They are like invisible chains that prevent us from finding our true selves. True freedom only comes when we break free from these shackles and begin to live in alignment with our true essence. How to find and live your true self. For Nietzsche, finding the true self requires a radical transformation. He challenges us to kill the old self, meaning we must let go of limiting beliefs that define us and keep us trapped. This concept is tied to his famous idea of the death of God. Nietzsche wasn't speaking literally about the death of a deity, but using it as a metaphor for abandoning outdated belief systems that no longer serve us, like religious or moral doctrines imposed by society. Killing the old self means breaking free from preconceived ideas about who you should be and starting to build who you truly are. When Nietzsche speaks of the death of God, he refers to the need to kill external authority and societal norms so we can be free to create our own truth. True freedom comes when we detach from beliefs that are not ours, those we've inherited, without questioning them. Next, Nietzsche urges us to create our own values. Instead of following other people's values, we must become the creators of our own morality. This doesn't mean acting chaotically or destructively, but making decisions based on what is most true to ourselves, without relying on established norms. This is the path to individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, free from societal pressures or imposed morality. Creating our own values is not easy. It requires courage to go against the grain and live authentically. Looking at historical figures who embodied this ideal, we can think of people like Socrates, who challenged the authorities of his time in the name of truth, or artists like Van Gogh, who stayed true to his artistic vision despite rejection. These figures didn't live easy lives, but what made them exceptional was their ability to remain true to themselves, not conforming to external expectations. How can we apply all this in our daily lives? Nietzsche offers some practical advice. One important practice is daily reflection. Ask yourself, am I living according to my true will? Or am I being authentic, or just playing a role imposed on me? These questions don't need perfect answers, but they're a good starting point for slowing down and reflecting on who you really are. Additionally, self-discovery is a continuous process. Take time to get to know yourself deeply. What do you truly want from life? What are your desires and passions? What would you do if you weren't limited by fear or others' expectations? Acting in accordance with your own will requires courage, but it's essential for living authentically. Remember, it's a journey that takes patience, but each step toward your true self is a step toward freedom. Nietzsche teaches us that true freedom is not simply living without restrictions, but living according to our own essence. By creating our own values, taking responsibility for our lives, and killing the old self, we are on the path to authenticity and self-overcoming. Throughout this video, we explored how the process of becoming who we truly are involves breaking free from conformity, questioning inherited values, and creating our own path. Nietzsche teaches us that true freedom arises when we can kill the old self, leaving behind limiting beliefs that prevent us from living authentically. From this transformation, we are called to create our own values, act according to our true will, and live without the constraints of external norms. This requires courage, but it also offers us the freedom to be who we truly are, with all the challenges and possibilities that it brings. Nietzsche reminds us of a deep truth. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. When we find our true purpose, difficulties become easier to face because we live with a deep, personal meaning that guides us. Now, the question that remains for you is, what limiting belief do you need to let go of in order to live authentically? Comment below and share your reflection. Remember, this is the first step toward becoming who you truly are.